The first state to have an official diplomatic relationship with Taiwan. And I didn't really feel too strongly about, Taiwan or another country in Asia. You're not viewed as like a walking bank account for the people that live in the country. Taiwan is super convenient. There's always an expiration date on that lifestyle. Yeah. Who?
嗨，大家好，欢迎来 Welcome to Taiwan。今天我们跑去到台北，跟我们美国朋友聊天。影片开始以前，请不要忘记订阅、按赞、开启小铃铛，谢谢大家。
So my name is Jeremy Furster, and I come from the United States. I come from a state that's not super well known. It's called Indiana. However, what's special about Indiana and Taiwan is that Indiana is the first state to have an official diplomatic relationship with Taiwan. So, you first have federal government, right, president level, but you don't do business with the federal government. You do business with the state. So Indiana State first opened up a trade office with Taiwan like 35 or more years ago. And so for a soybean trade, Indiana and Taiwan was like the fourth largest soybean trade partner.
So before coming to Taiwan, what do you know about Taiwan?
I did not know much about Taiwan when I first came. I did a school trip like in 2008, and so I came to Taiwan for a few days. And so I wrote a paper about Indiana-Taiwan relationships. I thought that would be it. But I was very lucky that when I was graduating, that there was a scholarship program between my university and Shijian. And I didn't really feel too strongly about, Taiwan or another country in Asia at the time. However, I feel like Taiwan has been kind of like the perfect environment for me coming from the west to the east. I think Taiwan is a very good blend of both, right? As an Asian country, it is one of the safest countries. It's one of the most straightforward. I mean, you don't have to negotiate every single thing you do in Taiwan, right? So like if you take a taxi somewhere, they're gonna charge you what you should pay. It's not like they're gonna come in and say, where are you gonna go? Okay, I will charge you, 3,000 NT to go across the city. And then you have to negotiate down to 1,000. So that's what I think is easy. And like, as a foreigner, you're not viewed as like a walking bank account for the people that live in the country, right? In some East Asian countries, that is definitely the case. That's all they see is a dollar sign. I think society has developed in a very good way for people. Like it's designed for people to live. I feel like Taiwan is I want to say a perfect retirement environment because you can live in Taiwan very cheaply, but you have a little bit of everything. And it's very, very convenient when you want to travel somewhere. Plus the healthcare is fantastic. So if you ever encounter any issue, you can get treatment comparably to other places very, very easily and at a good quality level. I mean, there's some issues that will still exist, of course, right? But if you think about the whole system compared to another, like the US, you don't want to get sick in the United States, like at all.
Okay, you mentioned there are some issues that still exist. Would you mind to elaborate a little bit?
So in the United States, you have a very thin general layer of healthcare, and that's supplemented by the large variety of medication that you can take. And so usually you will see an advertisement on TV and it'll tell you, hey, do you feel depressed, slow, your body's not doing too well? Well, here's this amazing medicine that is backed by a large corporation. I think a lot of times that leads to people in the United States thinking that they have problems that they don't have. Because it's always being communicated to you. The healthcare industry is so large in the United States because it's not very well regulated for protection of individuals. Outside of that, you have a larger, sophisticated layer. So if I go in and I see a doctor, it's going to take me some time. I have to schedule in advance. 2 or 3 weeks go by, and this doctor is an expert on everything. He will tell you anything you want to know about medicine. In Taiwan, it's kind of the reverse, where there's a very thick general level. And so as soon as you get sick, you can go to your clinic that's nearby, you can go to a hospital, and they'll give you medicine that's made from generic components. So it's not some fancy brand, but it's the same thing, but it's also then much cheaper. And then they give you 6 days of medicine. They say, tell me how you feel afterwards. It's a very good quality and care for your normal day-to-day sickness. And I think that's why in Taiwan, people on average they don't get sick so often. But what becomes bad is like, okay, well, do we still have that same level of specialization or expert opinion? And I found that, that's not so easy to get. Like, I got sick last year with bacteria infections, and I was sick for close to 5 months. When I first go to the doctor, they didn't even scan my body. I got a bacteria infection because my appendix bursted. I didn't realize my appendix bursted, and so I puked 13 times that day, and I go to the doctor, I tell them what's wrong. I even puked twice waiting to see the doctor, and he just said, here, take this medicine and go back home. But when your appendix bursts, if it's bursted and you don't get it taken out after 5 days, normally their chance of death is 90% plus.
That's serious.
Yeah, so I was 2.5 days around there before I got it taken out. And if I would have had this expert opinion in the beginning, of course they would have done the extra test, to push it through. But most of the time you don't have that kind of viewpoint in the very beginning, right? And my immune system was also weakened heavily. And I went to a hospital that's near where I live that I know is quite good, but they didn't have anyone there who could tell me about how to improve or repair my immune system. Because they said, well, we're only a specialist in the infection area. The other areas of medicine, you have to talk to someone else. Yeah, who? No answer, right? So I'm sure that there are some great hospitals and doctors in Taiwan, but again, it's where do you find those doctors? And if that process would be easier, I think that would be the only thing that would need to be changed in Taiwan's medical. I mean, I know other people that have had similar situations. Despite the issues, I would still say that Taiwan has one of the best healthcare systems in the world, right? But you should also recognize that when you do see a doctor, make sure you insist on telling them everything.
And what do you have in your country that you miss not having here in Taiwan?
I miss the most is having discount stores or serious discounts when shopping. So this shirt, these pants, my shoes, I've always bought them outside of Taiwan because it's, I can find very good deals for a pair of pants for $5 or $10 US. So 300 NT, I can find a very good pair of pants, right? It's on real discount of 80%. I wish we had that. Secondhand stores. We have a famous one in Taipei called Secondhand Store, but it's for luxury products, not for your everyday thing. That would be really, really, really great to have here.
What has Taiwan taught you in these 16 years?
Taiwan has taught me a lot of different things about life. I think the first thing is you need to be flexible in your surroundings. I've built up a higher level of patience in Taiwan and trying to understand more deeply about why things operate here are different from my home country, because culture is not just language, right? It's not just about speaking English and speaking Chinese. It's about being understood and understanding, who's the other person in the room. I've learned that, you don't need to know everything before you make a decision. Sometimes it's better if you think the direction is good, then you just do it. One really important aspect is that you should appreciate the comfort zone, but you should do your best to live outside of it as much as possible. Taiwan is super convenient, and that makes it easy for you to kind of stay in one lifestyle, but there's always an expiration date on that lifestyle, right? Nothing will last forever. And so while you can live very comfortably, you need to push yourself to do more.
If you had to change anything in Taiwan, what would it be?
I would figure out some way to make parking much more accessible in Taipei. I think everyone has that issue, but there's where I live on my street, the government they changed part of the parking zoning from cars to more scooters. And a scooter can just park anywhere, right? You need to make more space for the actual cars.
How long have you been in Taiwan?
I've been in Taiwan now for 16 years as of September of this year. And so I've done a lot of different things. I've gotten my master's degree in Taiwan, and then I went off to work in corporate banking. At that time, I was the youngest and only foreign corporate banker. This is back in 2012. There were many before me, and there are many after me, but in the corporate banking world, I was the only one. Became an entrepreneur, and so these days I'm more or less just living in Taiwan.
During your stay here in Taiwan, what's your most difficult challenge that you've overcome or yet to overcome?
I have moved 23 times to get to my dream home.
23 times?
Yeah, that's right. 23 times in less than 16 years. The great thing about Taiwan is that it's easy if you want to move. At least for me as a foreigner, right? It's been like a shared, house that I've lived in, a shared apartment, sometimes a standalone, single family apartment. I have had difficulties finding a place that I really like. I mean, in Taipei specifically, good apartments, when it comes to rent, they go in a day or in the first 3 days. And I just didn't feel like traveling more than an hour for commute on a daily basis, one direction. I've had issues like really bad neighbors. I've had issues that the landowner is coming back to move back into the apartment. Some of them I was forced. Most of the time it was, I want to go somewhere new. I would say that in general, I've been very fortunate. I thank my wife for this a lot. I've gotten my master's degree. I've had great work experiences. I've gotten married. I have a daughter. I have an apartment. I have a car as well. I'm doing all the things that you want to do as a person living in Taiwan. And so I would say that the opportunities as a foreigner living in Taiwan in some ways are endless. It might be difficult, but you can always reinvent yourself. You can always meet new people, and you can always have a different experience than what you're currently in. And so, yeah, I've been very happy for this result. The other challenge about living in Taiwan is the sacrifice that is made by not living in my home country. I have family in the United States who've never had the chance to visit me in Taiwan. So if I want to see them, I have to go back to that country, yes. It's always becoming a difficult choice. Do I continue to stay here because I enjoy living in Taiwan? Or do I go back to the United States because my family wants me to come back?
What's your favorite Taiwanese food?
I love food in Taiwan. And I think there are many different categories. So for breakfast, danbing is my #1 choice. Tuna danbing with cheese. A lot of people have never tried that before, and I really recommend that they give it a try.
Tuna danbing.
Yes, I usually go to different breakfast shops, and I rate them on Google Review, just on the danbing, to see which one's better than in the neighborhood and whatnot. Lobo gao with egg with a runny egg. So, you know, danbancho is fantastic. When it comes for lunch or for dinner, I'm all about hot pots, right? I think that's one of the best things that Taiwan has to offer. And if it's a night market, I mean, I have to go with fried chicken or like lu wei. And I will say, as a special shout out, that the Thai food in Taiwan, so from Thailand, Taiwan has done it right. They've taken any dish that you can get in Thailand and they've somehow made it better in Taiwan. You know, that's my opinion, but I think many people will agree with me.
Do you have anything else to tell Taiwanese people?
I would just say, number one, thank you for watching this video. I think that's amazing.
All right, thank you very much for sharing your life experience living in Taiwan, and hope you continue to enjoy your stay here in Taiwan.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, 感谢你收看，有喜欢不喜欢 please don't forget to click that subscription button, like the video, help us share if you can, and send in your super likes. It helps support the channel. And see you in my next video. Thank you.